had 3 years of underperformance, which is quite literally true. But I'm inclined to somewhat ignore that year because we were up 22%, 22.1, the market was 22.9. It's kind of like, if you want to give us a brief for 22.1, let me know. So I'm really interested in these years here, 22 and 23 in terms of performance, where we did underperform, and I'd like to talk about why, because I think it's just to learn something out of that and see if we can think about how we manage money and how you as investors trust us with it, and whether it's appropriate. This is 2023 performance for something that you've heard probably if you read the financial pages, called the Magnificent Seven. So brokers who want to get you to do things have wonderful ways of inventing names of things. The Brits, Magnificent Seven, the families, etc., etc., etc. Magnificent Seven of these stocks listed here. You'll see that the NASDAQ, the US index, delivered 43% return last year. A lot. That's a lot. Right? These 7 stocks delivered 2/3 of that return. If you didn't own all or most of these stocks, it was close to impossible to outperform, basically. Looking at it, we don't own any NVIDIA, and I know that Ian, who does alert us if he's got a question, that we need slides for, has got a question for us later on about the hype, if that's what it is, or the story around AI, which has driven this company, which designs chips for the GPUs, which are driving the models for AI. We don't own that. We do own some meta platforms. We're never going to own Tesla. We did own Amazon, and I sold it. We'll probably deal with that a bit later in terms of how good or bad an idea that was. We own Alphabet. We do own Microsoft. We do own some Apple. We own a very small amount of Apple. And the reason for that is we started buying it a year and a half ago, when it was rated about the same as the S&P index. We thought, if it's the same as the S&P index rating, we're probably right. It's a lot better than the S&P average. Started buying it, and we foresaw correctly that it was going to have a series of quarters of poor sales coming up. It's had 5 or 6 in a row since we started buying. The only thing we didn't foresee is that the share price would go up 50%. Well, that was happening. We hadn't got enough out, but we didn't have enough out. So, you know, that was the 2023 background to performance, just to let you know. Okay? And just to give you a reflection on it, the Magnificent Seven, I like movies a lot. I'm very keen on movies. And I think you can learn a lot from movies. One of the things that I think you can learn if you watch enough of them is there's no such thing as a movie plot. Everything's been done before, basically. It all gets rerun. And the Magnificent Seven, which they use as its term for these 7 stocks, which drove the market performance last year, of course comes from the 1960 movie with the same name. Have you seen this movie before? You bet you have, because in 1954, the Seventh Samurai was issued and released, and the Magnificent Seven is clearly a copy of it. They just wear cowboy hats and carry guns instead of swords or so on. So we have seen this movie before, and you know, the Magnificent Seven stocks, we've seen this movie before. In 7th of April 2000, Goldman Sachs named their Super 7. I'm guessing because they maybe had somebody who liked lunches or catering cards on the staff at the time, the Super 7. And here they are: First Data, Oracle, Teradyne, PMC, EMC Squared, Cisco, and Dell. Those were the Magnificent Seven of 2000. How did they do? There you go. There's the next 5 years' performance there, and there's the next 10 years' performance there. Julian and his team, who have to prepare these things that I drew up from time to time, struggled to find some of these because they barely exist anymore, you know, in terms of where they got to afterwards. And look, there's a great saying: history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. And I think we may find that if we had, on your behalf, entered into a full-blown Let's Own the Magnificent Seven last year, we might eventually be into watching the sequel to it and with the same outcome. Just to give you one other illustration, this is about how this is a portfolio